Money is like water. Its true nature is to move, to circulate, to nourish, and to flow from one hand to another, one channel to another, one life to another. Just as water loses its power when it is held back, so does money. The moment it is dammed up by fear, doubt, or rigid control, its energy begins to stagnate. Yet when you let it move with trust, generosity, and faith, it will return to you in overflowing measure, just as rivers find their way back to the sea. Think about water for a moment. It never argues with a stone in its path. It does not complain about obstacles, nor does it shrink in fear of drought. Water simply flows. If a boulder blocks it, it moves around. If the land dips low, it gathers, and if the sun draws it upward, it rises only to return again as rain. In every form, water is always abundant, always present, always circulating. Money follows this very law. It is not something you must desperately chase, nor something you must cling to tightly. It is energy like water, meant to move with freedom and ease. When people misunderstand this truth, they create financial struggle. Imagine someone who fills a jar with water but never pours it out. Soon the water grows stale, murky, and undrinkable. It can no longer serve its purpose of refreshing, cleansing, and giving life. In the same way, when money is hoarded with fear or locked away without circulation, its blessing grows stagnant. The fear of losing it actually pushes it away. But when you allow it to move, to flow outward in giving, in gratitude, and in purposeful action, you keep the current alive, and it returns to you purer and stronger. Money, like water, answers to faith. If you look at a stream and panic that it will dry up, your fear blinds you to the spring that feeds it. Likewise, when you fear money will run out, you cut yourself off from the true source that endlessly supplies it. The stream does not worry about the next rainfall. It knows its cycle is eternal. When you trust in the cycle of provision, you stop resisting, and the current of wealth can move back into your life. Every time you drink water, you can remind yourself of this truth. Hold the glass and affirms, as this water flows through me, so does money flow into my life. I allow abundance to move freely. I release all blocks. As you swallow, imagine that flow moving into every cell of your body, dissolving every fear, every belief in lack, every financial chain you once carried. You are not separated from supply, you are one with it, as water is one with the ocean. Consider how water refreshes the earth. It does not choose who is worthy of rain. It pours itself on the just and the unjust, on the rich soil and the barren ground. Likewise, money is not reserved for a select few. It responds to the law of flow, to those who allow it in faith, who give and receive without fear, who believe that their supply is unending. The more open you are, the more it comes. The more resistant you are, the more it withholds. The current is always present. Your openness determines how much you receive. Water is also a cleanser. Just as you step into a shower to wash away dust and sweat, you can use the symbol of water to wash away financial blocks. When you wash your hands, imagine debts dissolving. When you bathe, imagine every drop removing the stain of worry, guilt, or doubt about money. Say to yourself, I am cleansed of poverty thinking. I am renewed in wealth consciousness. With practice, this symbolic act trains your mind to release fear and to see money as something pure, natural, and always flowing. Think of generosity through the lens of water. A river never fears it will run dry when it nourishes the fields. The ocean does not shrink when it gives water to the sky. Giving is part of the circulation. So too with money, when you give with joy, you become part of its current. You are like a channel through which abundance moves. The tighter you hold it, the less can flow. But when you release it with trust, it comes back multiplied, just as the rain returns after giving itself to the land. Obstacles will come, but remember how water behaves. When rocks stand in its way, it does not stop, it finds a path around. So when financial challenges arise, do not resist with fear. Instead, find another way. Flow with creativity, faith, and openness. The block is not the end, it is simply a bend in the river, guiding you to a wider, deeper channel of prosperity. Often the obstacle is the very thing that redirects you to greater abundance. Even when water appears to vanish, it has not disappeared. When it evaporates, it is not lost but transformed, rising into the sky to later return as rain. The same is true for money. If it seems to leave you, trust that it is only shifting forms. It circulates, it moves, it gathers, and it will return. Fear of loss makes you believe it is gone forever, but trust reveals that it is only preparing to flow back in greater measure. You live in an ocean of abundance. Every drop of water is connected to the whole, and every dollar is connected to the infinite supply. Scarcity is an illusion created by the mind that fears separation. In truth, there is no separation, only connection. As rivers connect to oceans, so your life connects to the limitless source of wealth. Your part is to stay open, to stay flowing, and to release the belief in limitation. Water is also gentle yet powerful. It can drip softly on a stone, yet given time, it carves valleys and shapes mountains. Money too responds to persistence and faith. A small steady flow of prosperity, cultivated daily through right thinking, grows into streams, then into rivers, then into floods of abundance. Never despise the day of small beginnings. A trickle can become a torrent when you remain consistent, faithful, and aligned with the flow. When you feel anxiety about money, take a bowl of water. Speak your fears into it. Whisper your debts, your worries, your doubts. Then pour it away, declaring, I release these burdens into the flow. I allow prosperity to move freely in my life. Just as the water carries your words away, so the universe carries away your burdens, leaving you free to receive. This ritual impresses upon your mind the law of release and renews your faith in supply. The lesson is simple: money is like water. Do not dam it with fear. Do not cling to it in panic. Let it move. Let it flow through your giving, your gratitude, your faith. Trust that as surely as water finds its way back to the sea, so will money find its way back to you. Every thought of lack is a stone in the river. Every thought of abundance is a clear channel. Choose to think abundance, and the river will rush toward you. So drink deeply of life, give freely with joy, release blocks with faith, and let the river of money move as naturally as water. For abundance is not outside of you, waiting to be begged for, it is within you, waiting to be released. And when you release it, when you flow with it, you will discover that you are not standing beside a trickle but living within an endless ocean of prosperity. Stagnant thoughts about money create financial lack, just as stagnant water grows murky. When water is fresh, flowing, and in movement, it carries life, energy, and clarity. You can drink it, bathe in it, and be refreshed by it. But when water stands still, cut off from movement, it begins to grow fall, attracting insects, bacteria, and decay. It loses its power to renew and instead becomes something that drains vitality. In the same way, your thoughts about money determine whether you experience a constant stream of abundance or remain stuck in lack and frustration. If your mind is filled with doubts, fears, and complaints about money, your financial condition becomes stagnant. But if your mind flows with faith, gratitude, and expectancy, then prosperity rushes into your life like a river breaking free of a dam. Many people do not realize that their financial struggles are not caused by the outer world, but by the inner state of their thinking. They believe that money is scarce, that opportunities are limited, or that life has somehow withheld from them what they deserve. These are stagnant thoughts. Just as murky water cannot reflect the light of the sun, a stagnant mind cannot reflect the abundance of the universe. To change your financial condition, you must first cleanse the waters of your mind. You must let go of fearful patterns that repeat like old currents and open yourself to the fresh flow of divine supply. Consider how water responds to its environment. If it is dammed, it builds pressure until it eventually breaks through. If it is diverted, it finds another path. If it is blocked temporarily, it patiently gathers strength and then moves forward with even greater force. Money follows the same law. When your mind is full of doubt, it dams up the natural flow. You may notice bills piling up, opportunities slipping away, or relationships around money growing tense. But when you release those stagnant thoughts, you allow new channels to open, and prosperity comes in ways you could not have imagined. Stagnant thinking about money often comes in the form of repeating complaints. People say, there's never enough, or I'll never get out of debt, or money is so hard to come by. Each of these statements plants weeds in the waters of the mind, making it cloudy and heavy. The more they are spoken, the more power they carry, until the person finds themselves in a self-fulfilling prophecy. Lack breeds lack because the energy of lack is constantly being broadcast. But just as murky water can be purified, so can your mind. By replacing words of complaint with words of faith, such as, I am provided for, money comes to me with ease, or I live in an abundant universe, you filter out the pollution and restore clarity to your financial stream. The truth is that abundance is your natural state. The universe is overflowing with riches, opportunities, and supply. Look at the ocean, vast, deep, and endless. Look at the rain that falls from the sky, never worrying if it will run out. Look at the rivers that carve through mountains, always finding a way forward. None of these forces ever question their source or doubt their supply. They simply flow. When you align your thoughts with that same principle, money begins to flow to you just as naturally. You stop chasing after it in desperation, and instead, it comes toward you because your vibration matches its movement. Think of your mind as a reservoir. If you constantly hold on to fearful thoughts about bills, debts, and lack, the reservoir grows polluted. But if you fill it daily with gratitude, affirmations of wealth, and visions of prosperity, it becomes a wellspring of life. From that reservoir, money flows outward into your experiences, bringing with it ease, freedom, and joy. Just as clean water refreshes the body, clean thoughts about money refresh the spirit. You begin to see opportunities where before there seemed only obstacles. You meet people who open doors, and you attract circumstances that align with your prosperity. Sometimes stagnant thoughts are inherited. You may have grown up hearing people say, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy, or we can't afford that. These words sink deep into the subconscious like sediment settling at the bottom of a pond. Over time, They create invisible blocks, convincing you that abundance is not for you. But you can dissolve them through conscious choice. Each time you catch yourself repeating those old patterns, you can declare, I release every stagnant thought of lack. I am aligned with the endless flow of abundance. With persistence, the sediment clears, and your mental waters become fresh and vibrant once again. Water also teaches us the importance of circulation. Just as water must move to stay pure, money must circulate to stay alive. When you cling to money in fear, hoarding it out of anxiety, you create stagnation. It is not the saving itself that causes lack, but the fearful energy behind it. Fearful saving is like water trapped in a bottle, sealed off and cut from circulation. It eventually loses its vitality. But when you give freely, invest wisely, and spend with gratitude, you keep the current alive. Money flows out and back in, just as water evaporates and returns as rain. Trusting in this law keeps your financial life fertile and abundant. Cleansing your thoughts is as simple as observing them with awareness. Each time a thought of lack arises, treat it as you would dirt in water, filter it out. Replace it with a clean, clear thought of abundance. Visualization can be a powerful tool here. Imagine your mind as a river being cleansed by fresh rain, every drop washing away the mud of doubt. Feel the clarity and freshness of this mental water, and know that your finances are being renewed as well. The outer world always reflects the inner, so as your thoughts grow pure and flowing, your financial life begins to reflect the same pattern. Stagnant water also carries the lesson of stillness. While water must move to remain fresh, it can also become clear and reflective when it is calm. A lake, though still, can mirror the sky with perfect clarity when it is free of pollution. In the same way, moments of inner stillness allow you to connect with the source of all supply. Meditation, prayer, or quiet contemplation can calm the turbulence of your mind, making it reflective of divine abundance. In that stillness, inspiration flows, and you receive the guidance needed to align with prosperity. The murkiness of stagnant water symbolizes confusion. Many people feel confused about money, unsure how to manage it, fearful of making mistakes, or overwhelmed by financial pressures. But clarity comes when you trust the law of circulation. Just as a spring continues to bubble up fresh water no matter how much is drawn, so does the universe continue to supply when you align with it. Confusion fades as you affirm that you are guided in all financial decisions. Each step you take becomes aligned with wisdom, and your path becomes clearer. Notice also that stagnant water cannot support healthy life. It becomes a breeding ground for decay. In the same way, stagnant money thinking cannot support growth. Dreams die, opportunities fade, and energy is drained when you hold on to limiting beliefs. But when you let your thoughts flow with abundance, life flourishes. Ideas grow, businesses thrive, and wealth multiplies. Just as fish swim freely in a flowing river, so do blessings multiply in a flowing financial current. Every time you catch yourself worrying about money, remind yourself, this is stagnation. I release it now. Fear only creates more fear, while faith creates more faith. Choose to let your thoughts move freely, like water finding its path. Trust that there is always more supply, always another stream, always another way. With this mindset, you can never truly lack, for you are aligned with infinite abundance. Ultimately, stagnant thoughts are illusions. The universe is abundant, limitless, and always flowing. When you believe otherwise, you are simply cutting yourself off from what is already yours. Just as the river never doubts its source, you must never doubt yours. When you cleanse your thoughts, release fear, and allow your mind to flow freely, you step into a current of prosperity that cannot be stopped. Money comes to you in expected and unexpected ways, opportunities open, and your life reflects the abundance that has always been available. The lesson is simple: keep your thoughts about money fresh, flowing, and alive. Refuse to let fear, doubt, or complaint pollute your inner waters. Speak words of prosperity, act with faith, and trust the infinite source. In doing so, you will find that the flow of abundance never runs dry. It only grows clearer, stronger, and more powerful, carrying you into a life of freedom, prosperity, and you're holding a glass of water and speaking prosperity into it programs your mind for abundance. Water, in its essence, is pure, receptive, and alive. It absorbs vibration, carries energy, and mirrors thought. For this reason, when you hold a glass of water with intention, you are not merely engaging in a ritual. You are impressing your subconscious mind with the idea of abundance. You are planting seeds of wealth in the fertile soil of your spirit, and those seeds must grow. When you lift a simple glass of water and speak words of prosperity into it, you transform that water into a vessel of faith. Science has shown us that water takes on the energy of sound, thought, and vibration, but spiritual law knew this long before. Words are living forces. They shape unseen substance into form. What you repeatedly affirm enters into the invisible realm of cause and later appears in the visible realm of effect. Therefore, the words you speak into water are magnified. Because water is responsive, it listens, it carries, it remembers. Money, like water, is a flow. When you drink the water you have spoken into, you are symbolically drinking wealth into your very being. You are declaring, abundance is not outside of me, waiting to arrive someday. It is flowing within me, circulating through me, and pouring into my life now. That act of faith is powerful, because the subconscious mind accepts it without resistance. The mind believes the body, and when you physically take in the water, your mind takes in the wealth vibration along with it. This dissolves hidden doubts and blocks, replacing them with certainty that supply is flowing. Consider the contrast. Most people drink water absent-mindedly, with no awareness of its power. Yet those who awaken to its spiritual potential understand that every act can be holy, every ritual can be a channel of prosperity. Drinking water with intention becomes an act of alignment with the law of supply. Each sip can remind you that you are nourished by the abundance of the universe. Just as water hydrates and refreshes your body, prosperity hydrates and refreshes your life. You cannot survive without water, and you cannot thrive without the flow of wealth. Both are designed to move, to circulate, to renew. Imagine holding your glass and speaking, I am wealthy. Money flows to me in rivers of ease. Every block is washed away. I am one with infinite supply. These words, when spoken with faith, carry vibration. The vibration is transferred into the water, and the water becomes a carrier of wealth consciousness. When you drink it, you are not only refreshing your body, you are programming your spirit with a new financial identity. Over time, your outer life will begin to reflect this inner program. You may notice unexpected checks, new opportunities, or sudden solutions to financial problems. These are not coincidences. They are the outworking of the law. Water also represents cleansing. When you drink water infused with prosperity affirmations, you are not only attracting wealth, but also cleansing away the old beliefs of lack. Every swallow can be imagined as washing away fear, dissolving debt consciousness, and rinsing the subconscious of all residue of limitation. You are telling your mind, the past is washed clean. I now live in abundance. Repetition of this practice builds momentum. The more you do it, the stronger the current becomes, until prosperity is not something you are chasing, but something you are naturally embodying. Think of water's nature. It never argues, never resists, never doubts. It simply flows, it adapts. It moves around every rock and finds its way. When you align with water, you align with this same law. You stop resisting circumstances. You stop worrying about how money will come. Instead, you affirm and allow, trusting that the current will bring what is yours. The ritual of speaking into water is therefore more than symbolism. It is training your mind to release struggle and enter into flow. And money comes not to the one who struggles hardest, but to the one who aligns most deeply. This practice also awakens gratitude. As you hold your water, you realize how blessed you already are to have such a gift. Gratitude multiplies blessings. When you thank the water for carrying your words, when you thank the universe for supplying, you open channels for more. Lack closes doors, but gratitude opens them wide. Each grateful sip affirms, more is coming, I am cared for. Supply is endless. The subconscious accepts this as truth, and your outer world must rearrange to match it. Financial blocks are never truly there. They are patterns of thought, beliefs impressed on the mind by fear, upbringing, or past disappointments. But water rituals bypass the chatter of the conscious mind. They go straight into the subconscious through feeling, action, and symbolism. That is why they work so powerfully. You may affirm prosperity in words, but when you drink it as if you are drinking wealth itself, the mind believes it more fully. Faith is embodied. That embodiment dissolves resistance, and when resistance is gone, abundance flows. The law of the universe is generous. Just as there is more water than you could ever drink, there is more money than you could ever spend. The oceans never run dry, and neither does the source of supply. But your access depends on your consciousness. If you believe in lack, you dam up the river. If you believe in flow, you open the floodgates. Holding water and programming it with prosperity is a simple yet profound way to declare, I open my gates. Let the river of money pour in. Never doubt the simplicity of this act. The subconscious does not need complexity. It responds to repetition and feeling. Each day, hold your water with reverence. Speak words of wealth with conviction. Drink slowly, with the awareness that you are internalizing prosperity. Over weeks and months, notice how your confidence grows, how fear shrinks, how unexpected blessings appear. This is not superstition, it is spiritual law made visible. You are impressing your inner world, and your inner world creates your outer conditions. As water flows through rivers, through pipes, through streams, it carries life wherever it goes. So does money when allowed to flow freely. Both are channels of divine supply. By linking them through ritual, you remind yourself daily that wealth is as natural as water, as close as your next sip, as constant as the tide. You are never separate from it, you are immersed in it. And so, let this truth sink deep. Every time you hold a glass of water, you hold a key to abundance. Every time you speak prosperity into it, you activate the law. Every time you drink it, you program your mind for wealth. Do this not with anxiety or strain, with joy, knowing that the river of money already flows toward you. You are not begging for supply, you are aligning with it. The universe is abundant, water is abundant, and so is your life. As you continue this practice, you will discover that money arrives in ways you never expected, opportunities open, ideas come, favor surrounds you. The blocks you once thought were permanent dissolve like sand in the tide. You realize that wealth was never withheld from you. It was waiting for you to remove the dam of disbelief. With every glass of water, you remove a little more until the floodgates open and prosperity rushes in with unstoppable force. So take your water now. Speak into it words of life, wealth, and abundance. Drink deeply, with faith and joy. And know this: as the water flows into you, so does prosperity. You are programmed for wealth. You are cleansed of lack. You are aligned with infinite supply. And nothing can block the flow of abundance that is now yours. Water is one of the most sacred and powerful symbols of life. It moves silently, yet it shapes mountains and nourishes every living being. When you hold water in your hand, you are holding purity, flow, renewal, and divine energy in its most tangible form. Just as your body is made largely of water, your spirit resonates deeply with it. Every cell, every vibration, every thought you hold can imprint itself upon water. This is why drinking charged water is not just a physical act, it is a spiritual ritual, a profound way of programming your mind and body to align with wealth, prosperity, and the removal of every invisible block that has ever stood in your way. Imagine taking a clear glass of water. Before you drink it, you pause and hold it with reverence. You recognize that this is not ordinary water, it is a carrier, a vessel, a messenger. Just as rivers carry life from one land to another, so too can this water carry your spoken word, your belief, and your intention. In that moment, you speak into the water with faith. You declare that as you drink it, you are drinking in abundance, opportunity, and divine flow. You affirm that every limitation, every worry about money, every hidden fear of lack is dissolving and being washed away. This act transforms a simple glass of water into a sacred elixir of prosperity. Science itself whispers to us the truth of this ritual. Experiments have shown that water molecules respond to words, emotions, and vibrations. Positive words create beauty in its patterns, while negative words create distortion. This mirrors the truth of spirit. What you impress upon water with your belief and word is carried within it. When you drink that water, you are literally internalizing your intention. You are filling yourself with a vibration of wealth, a spiritual charge that seeps into your subconscious mind and begins to alter the way you think, feel, and act toward money. Financial blocks are not physical walls, they are patterns of thought. They are the fears you absorbed as a child when someone told you money was scarce. They are the doubts you carry when you believe wealth is only for the few. They are the guilt that whispers it is wrong to want more. These patterns lodge themselves deep in the subconscious and create invisible barriers. You might work hard, yet find doors closing. You might try with all your might, yet feel as if money slips through your hands. It is not because abundance has rejected you, but because the energy within you is not yet flowing freely. Drinking charged water is a direct way to cleanse those patterns, for water, as a symbol of purity, dissolves what is not true and restores harmony. Each sip becomes an act of agreement with divine abundance. You are no longer unconsciously drinking fear, doubt, and old stories. Instead, you are consciously drinking in prosperity, ease, and wealth. With every swallow, you are declaring, money flows to me easily, wealth fills me. Financial blocks dissolve. The more consistently you do this, the more your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. And what the subconscious accepts, life reflects. Soon, you notice opportunities that were once invisible. You find yourself guided toward ideas, people, and circumstances that open new financial doors. It is not magic, it is the law of alignment. Consider the way water softens even the hardest stone. A rock may resist for years, yet steady drops will wear it smooth. In the same way, your financial blocks may feel unmovable at first, but daily charging and drinking of water will steadily erode them. It is persistence, faith, and repetition that create the transformation. Each day you drink this living symbol, you are telling your mind and the universe, I am ready to flow with money. I am ready to receive without resistance. I am free. This ritual is simple, yet its simplicity is what makes it powerful. It does not require wealth to start, it requires faith. Anyone, no matter their current condition, can hold a glass of water and speak life into it. And because water is everywhere, you are never without access to this tool. Whether you are rich or struggling, in a palace or in a small room, the same element that fills oceans and rains from heaven is yours to use. That truth alone reminds you of abundance. You are never cut off from supply. When you drink charged water, imagine it spreading through your body like rivers across land. Picture it dissolving walls of fear in your mind, breaking down doubts like dams, and opening wide the channels of financial flow. Imagine it cleansing your heart of resentment, for resentment can block money as surely as fear. Imagine it washing away guilt, for guilt can repel abundance. Feel it filling you with lightness, renewal, and strength, as if your entire being is vibrating with the rhythm of prosperity. You are no longer a desert, you are an ocean, vast and overflowing. This act also anchors gratitude. Before you drink, give thanks, not just for the water, but for the wealth it represents. Gratitude multiplies what you have. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When you drink with gratitude, you are saying to the universe, I already receive, I already overflow, and in that vibration, more is drawn to you. The thankful heart is a magnet for increase. Some may dismiss this as too simple, but truth is always simple. Complexity is the invention of doubt. The greatest transformations are often hidden in plain sight, waiting for faith to unlock them. You do not need to climb mountains or perform grand rituals to invite wealth. You need only to align your spirit with the flow, and water is the perfect symbol to remind you of that flow. Money, like water, should never be hoarded. Stagnant water becomes fall, and stagnant money breeds fear and greed. The joy of both is in circulation. As you drink charged water, you are not only dissolving blocks but also committing to let money flow through you, into your life, through your life, and out again with generosity, and as it flows, it multiplies. A stream that moves stays fresh, but one that is dammed dries up. Let your water drinking ritual remind you of this truth. You are not a reservoir, you are a channel. Each time you practice, do it with expectancy. Do not treat it as a habit, but as a sacred act. See it as opening a door each day to greater abundance. Speak words that feel alive to you. Statements like, I drink wealth, I drink freedom, I drink overflow. Say them with conviction, and believe that as the water enters you, so does the reality of what you declared. Feel the energy shift in your body. Notice how your spirit feels lighter, freer, stronger. That is the beginning of transformation. Over time you will see changes. Small debts may vanish. Unexpected money may arrive. Ideas for increase may come with clarity. You may notice that worry no longer clings as tightly as before. This is the water at work. Not because the liquid itself is magical, but because you used it as a symbol, as a channel, as a daily reminder of who you are and what belongs to you. Wealth belongs to you by divine right. Lack was never your inheritance. Drinking charged water is a way of reminding yourself of this truth every single day. It is a declaration that you are one with abundance, that money flows as naturally to you as rivers to the sea. No block is too strong to withstand the flow of faith-filled intention. Just as rivers carve canyons through stone, your daily ritual carves a new path of prosperity through your life. So take the water in your hands with reverence. Speak life into it, drink with faith. Let each sip cleanse your doubts, dissolve your fears, and fill you with wealth energy. Repeat this act until it becomes second nature, until every time you touch water you are reminded of your abundance. In time, you will see that what you practiced in faith has become your reality. Prosperity flows to you through you and around you. You are one with the infinite supply, and nothing can block what is rightfully yours. Drinking charged water is not about the glass itself. It is about the belief behind it, the intention you infuse, the alignment you create. It is a daily partnership with the flow of life. And when you honor this flow, nothing can stop the tide of blessings from reaching you. You are not a desert waiting for rain. You are the ocean itself, endless, deep, and filled with wealth. Water is one of the most extraordinary gifts given to humanity. It is life-giving, cleansing, purifying, and restorative. Beyond its physical properties, water holds deep spiritual meaning and has long been used in rituals across cultures to symbolize rebirth, forgiveness, release, and abundance. It is no accident that the human body is made mostly of water, nor that water covers most of the earth. It is everywhere because it reflects the eternal law of supply, flow, and renewal. When you begin to see water not only as a physical necessity, but also as a spiritual tool, you discover that it can serve as a sacred ally in your journey toward financial freedom and abundance. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to use water in this way is through daily rituals of cleansing, washing your hands, bathing, or showering. On the surface, these are ordinary habits of hygiene. But when done consciously with spiritual intention, they become transformative practices that wash away invisible burdens such as fear, debt, lack, and limiting beliefs. Just as water removes dirt from your skin, it can remove the energetic and mental residue of poverty, consciousness, replacing it with faith, prosperity, and freedom. Imagine for a moment that every fear you have about money is a stain upon your hands. Maybe it's the fear of bills piling up, the anxiety of not earning enough, or the guilt of past financial mistakes. When you turn on the faucet and place your hands beneath the stream, you are not simply rinsing off physical dust. You are symbolically releasing those fears into the flow of life. As the water swirls down the drain, so too do your doubts and worries. You can affirm in that moment, I wash away all fear. I release all lack. I am cleansed of debt consciousness and I am free. This practice is powerful because it engages both the body and the mind. The water touching your skin is a tangible sensation, while your affirmations and visualizations imprint a new reality upon your subconscious. Together, they create a shift in energy. The act is simple, yet it penetrates deeply because you are speaking not just with words, but through a symbolic language that your inner self understands. Rituals have always been powerful for this reason. They bridge the seen and the unseen, the outer world and the inner world. A shower can become an even greater ceremony of release and renewal. As you step beneath the flowing water, picture it as a golden river of abundance pouring down over you. See it dissolving every chain of debt, every shadow of lack, every trace of financial fear. With each drop, imagine yourself becoming lighter, freer, and more radiant. Speak aloud or silently, every limitation is washed away. I am renewed. I am open to receive my divine supply. Let the water cascade over you as though you are being baptized into a new life of prosperity. Feel your spirit awakening, your mind expanding, and your heart trusting that money, like water, will flow abundantly and endlessly into your life. Debt, when viewed spiritually, is not merely an accounting of money owed, it is an energy of burden and weight. It presses upon the mind, creating a sense of heaviness and entrapment. But water carries the opposite energy. It is light, flowing, and unburdened. It does not cling to the rocks it passes but slips around them, always moving forward. By using water consciously, you teach your mind and spirit to adopt the same qualities. You begin to see debt not as a permanent prison, but as something that can be washed away, dissolved, and cleared. Just as a river wears down even the hardest stone over time, your rituals of release wear down the false belief that you are bound to lack. The key to this practice is faith and consistency. Each time you wash your hands or step into the shower, remind yourself that you are not only cleaning the body but cleansing the soul of scarcity. Even the smallest rituals, repeated daily, hold immense power. The subconscious is molded through repetition, and when you repeat affirmations of abundance in connection with physical action, you ingrain prosperity, consciousness more deeply than by words alone. Consider also the emotional connection you hold to money. Many people carry fear whenever they think of finances, as though money itself were something to be dreaded. This fear attaches itself to the nervous system, tightening the body and clouding the mind. When you use water as a ritual tool, you are literally retraining the nervous system to relax, release, and trust. As warm water pours over you, feel your muscles loosening, your breath deepening, your thoughts calming. You realize that fear is not your natural state, flow is. Scarcity is not your truth, supply is. By replacing anxiety with calm, you make yourself receptive to ideas, opportunities, and divine inspiration that lead to financial increase. Another layer of this practice is gratitude. Each time you use water, remember that it is a symbol of abundance itself. Think of how freely it is given, how generously it pours forth from rivers, oceans, and skies. Water does not struggle to exist, it simply is. By focusing on gratitude for water, you align yourself with the same energy of plenty. You begin to understand that just as there is more than enough water for all creation, there is also more than enough wealth for you. Scarcity is an illusion created by fear, abundance is the eternal reality. To deepen your ritual, you might create a practice of blessing the water before you use it. Hold your hand over the faucet, shower head, or basin and declare, "This water is charged with abundance, prosperity, and divine supply. As it cleanses my body, it cleanses my spirit of all lack." Then proceed with your washing, feeling that you are not only touching water, but touching the flow of universal wealth. You may even choose to visualize streams of green light, symbolizing money and prosperity, mingling with the water and infusing you with new energy. This form of ritual is not about superstition, but about aligning your consciousness with truth. You are working with symbols, but the symbols carry real power because they speak directly to the subconscious. Just as a seed planted in soil eventually produces fruit, the seeds you plant in your mind through ritual produce tangible results in your finances. The water is the soil, your words and intentions are the seeds, your faith is the sunlight that makes them grow. When practiced consistently, these rituals begin to shift your outer world. Suddenly, you may find that unexpected money appears, debts are paid off with ease, or opportunities for prosperity open up. This is not chance, it is the law of alignment at work. By releasing fear and debt, consciousness each day, you clear the channels through which abundance can flow. You stop resisting the current and begin to move with it, just as water moves with gravity. The universe responds to your openness by sending you the supply that has always been waiting for you. Water rituals also remind us of the importance of forgiveness, toward ourselves and toward others. Many financial blocks come not from lack of opportunity but from resentment, shame, or regret. These heavy emotions act like mud in the river of prosperity, slowing its flow. As you wash your hands or shower, you can declare forgiveness. I forgive myself for past mistakes. I forgive others who have harmed me. I release resentment and open to love and abundance. The water becomes a physical sign of inner purification. You step out lighter, not only financially but emotionally, ready to welcome the blessings that are yours by divine right. Let us also consider the symbolic meaning of flowing water. In many traditions, rivers represent wealth and fortune because they never cease moving. A river does not worry whether it will reach the ocean. It simply trusts the path carved for it. In the same way, you can trust that money will flow into your life when you remain in motion, aligned with faith rather than fear. Each time you bathe or shower, remind yourself that you too are a river of abundance, always moving, always connected to a greater source. Do not underestimate the power of small, daily actions. One hand washing done with intention may seem minor, but over weeks and months it rewrites your consciousness. What you once saw as mundane becomes miraculous. The very routines of life, washing, bathing, drinking water, become acts of spiritual transformation. You no longer live in a world where water only cleanses the body. You live in a world where water cleanses your destiny. In truth, you are not creating abundance through these rituals, you are revealing it. The flow of prosperity is already around you and within you, just as water already fills the oceans and skies. What you are doing is removing the blocks, fear, debt consciousness and lack, that prevent you from seeing and receiving it. Water becomes the key that unlocks your awareness, reminding you daily that you are part of an infinite supply. So the next time you turn on the faucet, pause for a moment. Do not rush. Let the water run over your hands and see it as a river of wealth. Let it carry away not only the dirt of the day but the worries of the mind. The next time you step into the shower, imagine you are stepping into a waterfall of prosperity. Allow it to wash over every cell of your being until you feel cleansed, renewed, and empowered. Know that just as water never runs out, your supply can never run out. It is endless, flowing, and freely given. By practicing these rituals, you align yourself with one of the greatest truths of life, that lack is an illusion and abundance is reality. Water whispers this truth each time it flows, reminding you that nothing can block what is yours by divine right. Every drop is a messenger of wealth, every stream a symbol of prosperity, every shower a baptism into your true inheritance. Use water with intention and you will find that fear, debt, and lack dissolve like dust, leaving only freedom, faith, and financial blessing. Every drop of water can be imagined as cleansing poverty, consciousness, and replacing it with prosperity. This is not simply a poetic idea but a spiritual law in action. Water is the most receptive element in the natural world. It absorbs vibration, it holds intention, and it reflects back what has been placed within it. When you take a glass of water in your hand and speak words of wealth, freedom, and success into it, you are not merely performing a ritual. You are aligning yourself with the eternal truth that prosperity is natural, that abundance is flowing, and that lack is nothing but a false belief. Poverty consciousness is not a condition of the world, but a condition of the mind. It is the mental dam that blocks the river of supply from reaching your life. But just as water washes dirt away from the body, so too can the spiritual power of water wash away the dirt of fear, doubt, and limitation from the mind. Imagine a single drop of water falling into a still pond. The ripples move outward, touching the surface again and again, until the entire pond has been stirred. In the same way, a single drop of truth spoken with faith into water can ripple into every part of your life. When you affirm that this water cleanses you of lack and fills you with prosperity, those ripples move into your finances, your relationships, your opportunities, and your consciousness. Suddenly, new ideas appear, doors open, people are drawn to help you, and you feel a new sense of lightness about money. This is not magic in the sense of superstition, it is the working of universal law. Water responds to thought, and thought responds to belief. Belief responds to faith, and faith creates the very substance of your reality. Poverty consciousness thrives on fear. It whispers that there is not enough, that money is hard to earn, that blessings are reserved for others. It makes you believe that your financial well-being is tied to chance, luck, or the generosity of others. But when you begin to use water as a symbol of cleansing, you realize that none of those lies have power. Hold a glass of water and say, "Every drop of this water cleanses me of fear, of debt, of lack, of the false belief in limitation." Then drink it slowly and deliberately, as though you are drinking liquid wealth. You will notice a shift inside. The heaviness of fear begins to dissolve, and in its place arises a calm certainty that money is flowing toward you, that opportunities are abundant, that wealth is your divine right. Think of how water moves. It never struggles, yet it always finds its way. Place a rock in its path, and it flows around. Freeze it, and in time it melts and flows again. Boil it, and it becomes vapor, rising upward to form clouds that later return as rain. This is the nature of money as well. Even if circumstances appear to freeze your finances, even if debts seem to block the path, the truth is that abundance is still moving, still flowing, still reshaping itself to return to you. Every drop of water you touch can be a reminder that nothing can stop your prosperity except your own belief that it can be stopped. Once you cleanse that belief, money flows as naturally as water down a stream. There is power in ritual because it speaks to the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not argue. It accepts what it is given. When you consistently give it the image of water cleansing away poverty and replacing it with prosperity, the subconscious builds a new pattern. That pattern begins to attract conditions, people, and events that match prosperity instead of lack. Soon you find unexpected income, gifts, business opportunities, or promotions appearing, and you realize that what has changed is not the world, but your consciousness. And because consciousness always projects outward, the outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to mirror the inner. Consider the act of washing your hands. Most people do it without thought, but you can turn it into a powerful prosperity practice. Each time you let the water run over your fingers, silently affirm, I wash away the thought of poverty. I wash away fear of bills, fear of debt, fear of not enough. I am clean, I am renewed, I am prosperous. In time, even the simplest act of washing becomes a sacred ceremony, reminding you over and over that lack has no power over you. With every drop of water, you are training your mind to let go of limitation and welcome abundance. Showering can also become a wealth ritual. Imagine every drop of water cascading over you as liquid gold, cleansing not only the dirt of the body, but the residue of fear and lack from your aura. Say within yourself, this shower cleanses me of all financial blocks. It removes every trace of limitation. I step out renewed, open, and ready to receive money in expected and unexpected ways. When you consistently practice this, you will feel lighter, freer, and more receptive. And because you are aligned with the flow of abundance, it must manifest in your life. Some may doubt the connection between water and money, but understand this, money like water is only a symbol. It represents flow, energy, and exchange. When you align yourself with the qualities of water, openness, movement, adaptability, you align yourself with the qualities that attract wealth. A person who is rigid and fearful resists the current of prosperity, just as a dam resists the current of a river. But one who allows themselves to flow with trust and generosity finds that the river carries them further than they ever imagined. Generosity is another lesson water teaches us. It never hoards, it pours itself out freely, nourishing all it touches. A stream does not say, I must keep my water for myself. It flows, and in flowing, it is replenished again and again. Likewise, when you give with love and joy, without fear of running out, you open channels for more to come back. The fearful giver tightens the flow, but the joyful giver multiplies it. So, the next time you pour a glass of water, remember that as freely as water pours, so too should your giving pour. When you release with faith, prosperity rushes back multiplied. Another practice you can adopt is the water intention ritual. Each morning, pour water into a small bowl and hold it in your hands. Speak into it your desire, whether it is financial freedom, clearing debt, or attracting new income. Imagine every drop absorbing your words, vibrating with the frequency of wealth. Then, pour the water into the earth or down the drain, declaring, as this water flows out, so do my blocks flow out. I am left open and ready to receive prosperity. The act may be simple, but the faith behind it creates movement. You are telling your subconscious that poverty is being released and abundance is taking its place. Water also symbolizes renewal and rebirth. Just as rain refreshes the earth after a dry season, prosperity can pour into your life after a period of lack. The drought does not last forever. The same law that brings clouds will bring rain, and the same law that seems to allow lack will surely bring supply. Every drop you see is a reminder that abundance is certain, that renewal is guaranteed, and that prosperity is always flowing toward you. Even science has shown that water responds to vibration and thought. This affirms the truth that when you project gratitude, love, and prosperity into water, you are programming it to reflect those qualities back to you. Drink it, bathe in it, use it mindfully, and it becomes more than a physical necessity. It becomes a spiritual tool. Above all, let water remind you of this eternal truth: you live in an ocean of abundance. The supply is limitless, infinite, and ever-flowing. Poverty is not reality, it is an illusion created by fear and disbelief. Prosperity is the reality, the truth, the law. With every drop of water, you can choose to wash away the illusion and stand in the truth. And when you do, money, opportunities, and blessings will flow to you as naturally as rivers flow to the sea. You are not separate from prosperity, just as a drop of water is not separate from the ocean. Every drop you see, every sip you drink, every shower you take is a message from the universe. Abundance is here, flowing, ready to fill every part of your life. Trust it, declare it, align with it, and soon you will live in the overflow. Observing water's flow teaches us to move around obstacles instead of resisting them. This keynote carries within it one of the greatest spiritual lessons about money, prosperity, and the art of living. When we watch a stream or river in motion, we notice that water never argues with the rocks in its path. It does not stop, complain, or demand that the stones move out of the way. Instead, it simply finds another route. It bends, curves, slips, and glides, always finding a way forward. It never loses its strength, and it never loses its purpose. This same principle applies to the flow of money and the removal of financial blocks. When we resist what is happening in our lives, when we argue with circumstances, or when we cling to worry, we block the current of prosperity. But when we, like water, learn to flow with trust, faith, And adaptability, abundance finds its way to us without strain. Money, like water, is a current. The very word currency comes from the word current, a reminder that wealth is meant to circulate, to move, to flow. Many people live in frustration because they try to force money into their lives, or they fight against obstacles with anger, fear, or impatience. But just as no river can push a mountain out of its path, no amount of resistance can create prosperity. Instead, when we soften our minds and hearts, when we let go of the struggle, we find that money begins to move toward us through channels we could never have predicted. The lesson of water is surrender, not in weakness, but in wisdom. To surrender is to release the need for control and to trust the higher flow that guides all things. Think for a moment about the obstacles you may be facing financially. Perhaps it is debt, unemployment, low income, or business setbacks. Each of these challenges may feel like an immovable rock in your path. If you fight against it, you will only exhaust yourself. But if you adopt the nature of water, you will ask instead, how can I flow around this? Where is the opening? Where is the path of least resistance that still carries me toward abundance? When you shift your mindset from resistance to flow, solutions begin to reveal themselves. Unexpected opportunities appear. A new idea, a supportive connection, or a sudden inspiration arrives like a fresh stream breaking through dry ground. Obstacles that once seemed permanent lose their power because you no longer fight them. You simply flow past them. Water also teaches us patience. A river may take years to carve through stone, yet it never gives up. It continues its journey with quiet determination, knowing that in time even the hardest rock will yield. This is the same with prosperity. You may feel blocked, as though your financial breakthrough is delayed. But if you continue to flow, if you remain in faith and keep moving forward step by step, the current of wealth will carve new paths for you. Your consistency and trust will wear away every barrier until what once felt impossible becomes a smooth channel for abundance. Another profound lesson of water is adaptability. Water takes the shape of whatever vessel it is placed in. It can become a droplet, a wave, or a mighty ocean. It does not resist form. It simply adapts and continues being itself. Likewise, if one channel of income dries up, you need not despair. You can adapt. You can allow yourself to flow into new opportunities, new forms of prosperity, new expressions of wealth. The person who clings to only one way for money to arrive resists the flow, but the person who trusts that abundance has endless channels will always find provision. Just as water can appear as rain, snow, mist, or river, money can appear as salary, gifts, investments, ideas, or opportunities. The key is to remain open and fluid. There is also an element of gentleness in water's strength. At first glance, it may seem soft and weak, but given time, it shapes valleys, carves canyons, and wears down mountains. In the same way, your gentle persistence in affirming prosperity, in practicing gratitude, in aligning with abundance will eventually overcome any financial block. You do not need to force or strain. You need only to remain consistent, to keep flowing, to keep trusting. The universe responds not to struggle but to alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions flow together in harmony with abundance, wealth must appear just as surely as rivers must reach the sea. When you observe water flowing around rocks, notice also how it creates beauty in the process. The curve of a stream, the sparkle of ripples, the song of water over stones, all of these exist because of obstacles. Without rocks, rivers would not sing. Without resistance, we would not grow. In the same way, your financial challenges are not punishments but invitations. They are opportunities for you to create new beauty, new strength, and new wisdom in your journey. When you stop cursing the obstacle and instead bless it as part of your path, you shift from frustration to flow. Suddenly, even setbacks become stepping stones, guiding you toward richer experiences. Let us also remember that water always seeks the lowest point, and from there it gathers strength. This is a lesson in humility. When you humble yourself, when you release pride, ego, and the need to prove yourself, you become receptive. You open yourself to guidance, to learning, to growth. Just as rivers grow powerful when they gather into valleys, you will grow powerful financially when you gather wisdom, practice gratitude, and align with divine direction. Humility is not weakness. It is the openness that allows the flood of prosperity to enter. Imagine now a practical ritual to embody this principle. Take a bowl of water and place a small stone in it, representing your financial obstacle. Gently pour more water into the bowl and observe how it flows around the stone, filling the entire vessel despite the obstacle. As you watch, affirms, I am like water. I flow around every challenge. Nothing can stop the abundance that belongs to me. Wealth is finding its way to me now. This simple act impresses upon your subconscious the truth that no obstacle is final. You are part of the infinite current, and abundance always finds its way to you. Resistance, on the other hand, creates tension. When you resist bills, you magnify them. When you resist debt, you give it power. When you resist lack, you chain yourself to it. But when you release resistance, you break the chains. Flowing does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means facing it with peace, faith, and creativity. Pay what you can with gratitude. Speak words of increase over what you have. Expect more to arrive. This is how you keep the current alive even in moments of financial pressure. There is also a lesson of trust in water's journey. A stream does not question whether it will reach the ocean. It flows with certainty. It knows that its path, no matter how winding, will ultimately return to the sea. In the same way, you must trust that your financial path, no matter how winding, will ultimately lead you to abundance. You may not see every turn ahead, but you can trust the current. Trust that you are being carried. Trust that the source of all supply is guiding you. Trust that wealth is inevitable when you flow in alignment. As you embrace the nature of water, you will find your heart softening toward money. You will no longer fear it, resent it, or chase it. Instead, you will allow it to flow into your life naturally. You will recognize that obstacles are not blockages but opportunities to expand your flow. You will understand that adaptability, patience, humility, and trust are the keys to prosperity. And most importantly, you will live in peace, knowing that nothing can stop the current of abundance that belongs to you. You are like water, pure, flowing, and unstoppable. Whatever financial rocks lie before you, you have the power to move around them with grace. You are not stuck. You are not limited. You are part of an endless stream of prosperity, always moving, always expanding, always finding new ways to reach you. As you live in this awareness, money will come, opportunities will appear, and financial freedom will unfold in ways greater than you imagined. Flow like water, and abundance will flow to you. Like water, money finds a path when you stay open, adaptable, and faithful. The law of abundance moves like a river, and nothing can stop its current when the soul trusts and allows. A river does not question how it will pass around a rock, nor does it resist the mountains that stand in its way. It simply flows, bends, and moves with certainty that its destination will be reached. In the same way, when you align your thoughts with faith and openness, money begins to flow into your life without strain, without fear, and without endless struggle. Obstacles become opportunities, detours become divine redirections, and financial blocks dissolve into stepping stones. The mind, however, often seeks to control every detail, to force money to appear through worry and stress. This is where people go wrong, for worry acts like a dam that clogs the river of supply. Fear makes you stiff, rigid, and resistant. But life rewards those who remain fluid and adaptable. When you open yourself to unexpected channels of income, when you trust that opportunities will find you even if they come in forms you never imagined, you begin to experience the effortless flow of money. Faith is not blind. It is the inner knowing that the same intelligence that created rivers, oceans, and rainfall also created the supply that sustains your life. Think of a river running through a valley. Sometimes it narrows, sometimes it widens, sometimes it cascades down waterfalls, and sometimes it runs calm and still. Yet it never stops moving forward. Money is the same. At times, income may rush in like a flood. At other times, it may arrive more gently, piece by piece. The faithful heart does not panic when the flow is slow, nor does it grow arrogant when the flow is strong. Instead, it stays centered, grateful, and expectant, knowing that the current of abundance is always moving in its favor. Adaptability is the art of staying fluid. When a river meets a boulder, it does not shatter against it. It curves and carves its way around it, eventually shaping even the hardest rock with its persistence. Financial obstacles, debts, setbacks, or losses are not walls to stop you. They are stones that teach you to flow differently. Perhaps you lose a job, but in that very loss lies the redirection toward a business, a partnership, or a creative endeavor that brings far greater wealth. Perhaps an investment fails, but that experience teaches wisdom that opens the door to financial freedom later. The adaptable spirit never sees the obstacle as the end, but as part of the path. Faith is the inner current that makes you strong enough to keep moving forward when the mind screams with fear. Faith says, "Though I do not yet see it, my supply is on its way." Faith turns a drought into expectation of rain. When you trust that money will come through the right channels, you stop grasping at what is not meant for you. You stop clinging to dried up streams and begin seeking new rivers that are already flowing. Faith releases desperation and replaces it with calm assurance. This calmness itself attracts money because wealth flows where there is peace, not panic. Imagine standing by the shore of a great ocean. The waves come and go, yet the ocean is never depleted. That is the reality of money in the divine order. It may come and go in waves, but the source is infinite. When you anchor yourself in this truth, you no longer fear giving, nor do you tremble when money leaves your hands. You know it returns just as the tide returns, often greater than before. Adaptability allows you to release money with joy, and faith allows you to receive it without doubt. Together they keep you in harmony with the great ocean of abundance. Many people hold tightly to money, believing it will disappear forever if they let it go. But this is like clutching a handful of water. Grip it too hard and it slips away. Hold it with openness, and it rests gently in your hand. Money behaves in the same law. The tighter you cling in fear, the quicker it escapes. The more open and generous you are, the more it flows back to you. Generosity is not just about giving to others, it is also about giving yourself permission to believe in plenty. When you adapt your mindset from scarcity to abundance, you create a magnetic pull that draws money naturally. Faith and adaptability transform your relationship with setbacks. A person without faith sees a financial challenge as disaster. A person with faith sees it as a bend in the river. Imagine a time when an opportunity seemed lost, only for something better to arrive later. This is not coincidence, it is the current of life guiding you around rocks that would have hindered your true prosperity. Trusting this process keeps you open and prevents bitterness. For bitterness hardens the heart, making it resistant to flow. Softness, like water, is strength. It keeps you pliable enough to be led toward wealth you could not yet see. There is also wisdom in noticing how water reflects. Look into a still pond and you see a perfect image of yourself. In the same way, your financial life is a reflection of your inner beliefs. If your reflection shows turbulence, lack, or fear, it is because your thoughts are restless. But when your inner waters are calm, when your beliefs are aligned with abundance, your financial reflection changes too. Money mirrors the vibration you carry. If you live in fear, it escapes you. If you live in openness and faith, it flows to you. Consider rain, which falls without discrimination. It waters the rich land and the poor land alike. This shows that abundance is not limited to a select few. It is available to anyone who opens to receive it. Yet only the open vessel can be filled. A closed vessel cannot catch the rain, no matter how heavy the downpour. This is why adaptability and openness are essential. They keep your vessel open to receive the wealth that is already falling all around you. Money also follows rhythm, just as water follows tides. Those who prosper are those who align themselves with these rhythms. They know when to act boldly and when to rest patiently. They know when to plant seeds and when to harvest. They are not rigid, insisting that money arrive only in one form or at one time. They are adaptable, allowing the rhythm of the universe to guide the flow into their lives. Such trust dissolves stress and makes prosperity natural. When you remain faithful, you stop fighting against the flow and instead float with it. This is not laziness, it is alignment. To float with the current is to trust its direction. To resist it is to exhaust yourself and remain in lack. The person who floats trusts that the river of life is carrying them to greater abundance, even if the path winds through valleys they do not understand. Faith replaces confusion with peace, and peace allows creativity to blossom. Creativity itself becomes a channel through which money flows. Think also of waterfalls where water plunges into great depths with breathtaking force. Sometimes, your financial journey may feel like a sudden drop, a loss, or a collapse. But what happens at the bottom of a waterfall? The water does not stop, it gathers strength and continues on its journey, often faster than before. So too with financial setbacks, they are not the end, but the force that accelerates you into greater flow. If you remain adaptable and faithful, you rise from every fall with multiplied blessings. Finally, let water remind you that abundance is eternal. No matter how much is poured out, the oceans remain full, the rivers remain flowing, and the rains return in season. So it is with money, it is infinite, ever circulating, and always seeking open channels through which to move. If one door closes, another opens. If one river dries up, another springs forth. Your only task is to remain open, adaptable, and faithful, just as water itself is. When you do, you will see that money finds its way to you effortlessly, faithfully, and endlessly. For the one who trusts, the river of wealth never runs dry. For the one who adapts, every obstacle becomes a pathway. And for the one who remains open, abundance flows in, through, and around their life, just as surely as water shapes the earth itself. Generosity keeps the current of wealth alive, while fear-based giving shuts it down. When we look at the world around us, we can see that the universe itself operates on the principle of circulation. The air we breathe, the tides of the ocean, the rising and setting of the sun, the beating of our hearts, all of it is movement, exchange and flow. There is no hoarding in nature. The tree does not cling to its leaves in autumn, nor does the river hold back its waters. Each gives freely, trusting that new leaves will appear, new rains will come, and new abundance will flow. So it is with money. Money is meant to circulate. When you hold it with fear, when you clutch it tightly as though it will never return, you create resistance to the very current that would bring more of it to you. But when you give generously, with joy and love, you open yourself to the law of increase, and money begins to flow in greater measure into your life. Many people live in fear of not having enough, and that fear shows up in their relationship with money. They may hoard it, spend it reluctantly, or give grudgingly, all the while affirming to themselves a subconscious message. There is not enough for me. This energy of lack becomes a block. Just as a dam prevents the river from flowing, fear blocks the stream of abundance from circulating in and out of their lives. Generosity, however, is like removing the stones from the riverbed, allowing the water to move freely again. It is a declaration to the universe that you trust the supply of life. When you give, you affirm that there is more than enough to go around, and this very act of faith attracts greater abundance back to you. True generosity is not about the amount but the spirit in which it is given. A person who gives a coin with love, gratitude, and expectation of good will receive more blessings than one who gives a fortune with resentment or reluctance. The universe does not measure the size of your gift, it measures the energy behind it. The heart of giving is what multiplies the return. If you give with joy, you plant seeds of joy. If you give with fear, you plant seeds of loss, and every seed produces after its kind. If you plant apple seeds, you will reap apples, not pears. If you plant seeds of worry, you will reap more worry. But if you plant seeds of generosity, you will reap a harvest of prosperity. Money is energy, and energy must flow. Imagine electricity in a circuit. If the circuit is broken, the current stops. If you turn off the tap, water stops running. In the same way, if you cut off the flow of giving, you cut off the flow of receiving. Fear-based giving is like giving with the tap still half closed. The water dribbles out reluctantly, and so the return is weak and unfulfilling. But generous giving opens the tap wide. It says to life, I am not afraid. I trust that as I pour out, more will pour back in, and the universe responds in kind, opening doors, opportunities, and unexpected sources of income. Think of the times in your life when you gave freely, perhaps to a friend in need, a cause you loved, or even a stranger on the street. Often, you felt lighter, happier, and freer afterward. That feeling is not accidental. It is a sign that you aligned yourself with the natural law of circulation. Your subconscious registered that you had participated in abundance rather than in fear. On the other hand, recall the times when you gave reluctantly or with resentment. Instead of joy, you may have felt drained or dissatisfied. That energy echoed back to you because you did not give in faith but in fear. The difference is striking, and it teaches us the importance of the spirit in which we give. Generosity also heals the subconscious patterns of scarcity that many carry within them. From childhood, people are often told messages like, money doesn't grow on trees, or what can't afford that. These words sink deep into the subconscious, creating beliefs of limitation. Fear-based giving springs from those beliefs, because one feels there is never enough to spare. But when you choose generosity, even in a small way, you rewrite those messages. You declare, I live in an abundant universe. I am supplied. I can give freely because I trust the flow of life. With every act of generosity, you strengthen that new belief until it becomes natural and financial blocks dissolve. Water is the perfect symbol for this law. Imagine a river that refuses to let go of its water, attempting to hoard it instead of letting it flow downstream. Very quickly, that river would become stagnant, polluted, and lifeless. But a river that flows freely remains clear, fresh, and full of life. Your financial life is no different. If you try to hoard and cling out of fear, you create stagnation, debt, and anxiety. But if you give generously, you keep the current moving, and with the current comes fresh supply, unexpected blessings, and renewed vitality. Another truth about generosity is that it multiplies not only money but joy, peace, and connection. When you give generously, you step out of self-concern and participate in the greater good of the world. You become part of a divine exchange, a cosmic circulation where everyone benefits. The good you send out returns to you, often in ways you cannot predict. Perhaps you give money, but what comes back is an opportunity, a relationship, or a burst of inspiration that leads to greater wealth. Generosity widens the channels through which abundance can reach you. It is important to remember that fear-based giving is not real giving. Some people give because they feel pressured, guilty, or afraid of what others will think if they don't. This is not generosity but bondage. True giving is always free, joyful, and rooted in trust. If you feel resistance in your heart, pause and realign your intention. Remind yourself that every gift you give is planting a seed in the fertile soil of the universe, and that seed must grow and return to you in multiplied form. Give when you can align with joy, even if it is small. That is where the power lies. Consider also the words you attach to your giving. If you give and then say to yourself, I shouldn't have spent that, or now I have less, you cancel the energy of your gift. Instead, affirm with faith, this gift comes back to me multiplied. I give freely, and I receive abundantly. Your words charge your giving with power, just as speaking into water charges it with intention. Every time you give, bless the gift, bless the receiver, and bless yourself as the channel of abundance. In doing so, you magnify the current of wealth in your life. Generosity is not limited to money. It can be expressed through time, love, kindness, and encouragement. These two are currencies of abundance, and they follow the same law. The more love you give, the more love you receive. The more kindness you pour out, the more kindness flows back to you. And often, the wealth you seek financially begins with generosity in these non-monetary forms, because they soften your heart, dissolve fear, and open you to receiving. Fear-based giving shuts everything down. It shrinks your world, closes your heart, and blocks the channels through which prosperity could flow. It is like putting a lid on the river, attempting to control what cannot be controlled. Life is movement, and control rooted in fear always leads to struggle. But when you surrender to generosity, you allow life to move as it was designed to move, freely, abundantly, endlessly. One of the greatest affirmations you can practice is this: I give freely, and I receive freely. Money flows to me and through me in an endless stream of supply. Each time you give, remember that you are proving this affirmation true. You are not losing anything, you are participating in the eternal current of abundance. So let generosity become your practice. Let every act of giving remind you that you live in an unlimited universe where money, like water, is never lost but always circulating. Each time you give with love, you set in motion a return that must find its way back to you. Fear may whisper that you will be left with nothing, but faith declares that you are overflowing. Choose faith. Choose generosity. Keep the current of wealth alive, and you will see abundance flow into every area of your life in ways greater than you imagined. Water rituals, such as pouring intentions into a bowl of water and releasing it, symbolize removing blocks. This simple practice, though appearing ordinary, carries with it a deep spiritual power that reaches beyond what the physical eyes can see. When you pour water into a bowl, it is not merely liquid filling space, it is a vessel for your thoughts, emotions, and desires. Every word spoken into it, every intention placed upon it, becomes absorbed by the element that has carried life since the beginning of creation. Water has memory, it holds vibration. When you whisper into it your fears, debts, doubts, or even the desires of your heart, you are transferring invisible energies into a medium that knows how to carry and release them. Just as rivers carry away debris, so water carries away that which no longer serves you, and in return, it leaves you cleansed, aligned, and open for new blessings. The act of pouring intentions into water is not about superstition, it is about aligning with the universal law that what is acknowledged can be released, and what is released creates room for something better to take its place. Too often, financial blocks persist because people hold them tightly within, rehearsing their failures, nurturing their fears, and repeating their stories of lack. This makes the block heavier, thicker, and seemingly immovable. But water is a dissolver, a cleanser, a flow that does not cling. When you speak into it your financial worries, whether it is unpaid bills, scarcity thinking, or inherited beliefs about money, you symbolically transfer those burdens into something that can carry them away. The moment you pour the water out, you are declaring to your mind and to the universe that the block no longer belongs to you. You have given it up, and in its place, you welcome flow, circulation, and increase. Consider what happens when you do this ritual consistently. Each morning or evening, you take a bowl, fill it with fresh water, and speak to it. You may say, I release the belief that money is hard to come by. I release the fear of never having enough. I release every debt and every thought of limitation. You do not have to be poetic, your sincerity is enough. Then, as you pour it out into the earth, into a plant, or even down the sink, imagine the water carrying those very thoughts far away from you, dissolving them, neutralizing them, and washing them out of your life. The more you do this, the more your subconscious mind begins to believe the release is real, and as your inner reality shifts, so too does your outer reality. Money begins to flow because you no longer hold the dam of fear in place. Prosperity finds its path to you because the obstacles of doubt have been symbolically washed away. The power of ritual lies in its repetition and its symbolism. Many people pray or affirm wealth, but without a physical act, their mind may still wander into disbelief. Rituals, however, give the mind something tangible to connect with. Pouring water is a physical act that mirrors a spiritual truth. What is released is gone. Imagine debts and fears dissolving like sugar in hot tea, no longer visible, no longer solid, simply melted into the flow. Each time you release water, you remind yourself that your financial blocks are no more permanent than drops of ink in the ocean. They are diluted, washed away, powerless in the face of the great current of life. And because money, like water, is meant to flow, the moment you clear the channels within yourself, it begins to move again, through unexpected opportunities, sudden windfalls, or steady streams of income that arrive just when you need them. Water also symbolizes purity and renewal. To use it in ritual is to claim a fresh start each day. Financial struggles often weigh people down with guilt and shame, as though mistakes from the past have written a permanent script for the future. But water teaches us that no stain is permanent. No matter how muddy it becomes, once it flows, it finds clarity again. In the same way, your financial life can be purified. Each release of water is a declaration that yesterday's struggles are over, that debts do not define you, that lack is not your identity. You are cleansed of it all, and you step forward renewed, with fresh eyes to see opportunities and fresh energy to claim them. This renewal is crucial, because money responds not to desperation, but to confidence and openness. The more you feel renewed, the more easily you attract financial blessings. When you pour intentions into water, you also engage with the law of transference. You are moving your block from the invisible mind into a visible action. For many, the hardest part of manifesting wealth is the invisible nature of thought. You cannot hold fear in your hand, nor place doubt in a box, so it feels overwhelming and intangible. But through the ritual, you give shape to what is formless. You say, "This water now holds my fear. This water now carries my doubt. This water now contains my block." And then when you pour it out, you watch your problem leave you. The mind accepts what it can see, and in this way, the ritual helps your belief grow stronger. As belief grows, faith follows. As faith strengthens, financial blocks dissolve, not only symbolically but also practically. New solutions, ideas, and channels open because your mind has been unburdened and set free. Water is also connected to flow, and flow is the essence of abundance. When you release into water, you are telling the universe, "I am ready for flow. I am not clinging. I am not hoarding. I am not fearful. I trust the current to carry me where I need to go." This attitude is magnetic to prosperity. Fear of losing money often blocks people from receiving it. They grip tightly, resist change, and in doing so, stop the very circulation they long for. But by practicing release through water, you train yourself to trust. You learn that letting go is not losing, but creating space for more. You come to see money not as a static object but as a river. You need not chase it, only align with its movement. And once you are aligned, wealth comes naturally, effortlessly, and often abundantly. This ritual can also be a prayer of gratitude. Instead of only releasing blocks, you may choose to pour into water your thanks for what you already have. Gratitude is a powerful magnet. When spoken into water and then released, it multiplies. You might say, "I am grateful for the money I have. I am grateful for the roof above me. I am grateful for the opportunities coming my way." Then, as you pour it out, you symbolically release that gratitude into the universe, and the law of return ensures that more is drawn back to you. Water becomes not only a tool of release but also of expansion, carrying your gratitude into the vast current of creation and returning to you multiplied blessings. Imagine how transformative it would be if every financial worry you ever had could be washed away like dust on your skin. This is the gift of water rituals. They do not deny the reality of bills or obligations, but they shift your inner state so that you no longer see them as permanent prisons. You see them as temporary ripples in the stream, already dissolving, already being carried downstream. And because your faith is stronger, solutions appear. Perhaps you meet someone who offers you an opportunity, or a forgotten resource comes to light, or simply, a new sense of courage rises in you to take inspired action. None of this happens while you are bound in fear, but once the block is symbolically removed, you are free to act and receive. There is also beauty in making water rituals personal. Some may choose to add a drop of salt representing purification or a flower petal representing new growth. Some may do the ritual at sunrise, symbolizing new beginnings, or at night, symbolizing release before rest. However you practice, the essence remains the same. You are taking your financial blocks out of the unseen world of thought and putting them into the seen world of ritual, where they can be acknowledged and released. And each release affirms that your path is clear, your channels are open, and abundance is flowing. So, when you take that bowl of water, when you whisper your intentions, when you pour it out, do not think of it as a small act. Think of it as aligning yourself with the eternal laws of flow and circulation. Think of it as training your mind to believe that no block can hold you. Think of it as opening the gates of prosperity so that money, opportunities, and blessings rush into your life with the unstoppable current of a mighty river. Let water teach you the truth. What is released is gone, and what flows returns in greater measure. Then watch as your financial blocks dissolve, your abundance increases, and your life becomes a testament to the flow of prosperity that was always meant for you. Just as water is never lost but transformed, money also circulates and returns in new ways. This truth is one of the most liberating laws of life, yet many people live in fear that once money leaves their hands, it will not come back. Fear and doubt create resistance, and resistance interrupts the natural flow. If you look at the cycle of water, you will see a perfect picture of the spiritual law of supply. Water falls as rain, gathers into rivers, streams into oceans, evaporates into clouds, and returns again as rain. It is never destroyed, it only shifts from one form to another. Money follows the same law. It may appear as wages, gifts, opportunities, or sudden surprises. It may leave you through bills, obligations, or giving. But it is never gone, it is simply circulating, preparing to return in a new form and often multiplied. When you understand this, fear loosens its grip on you. No longer do you cling to money with anxiety, afraid that spending will rob you of your security. Instead, you realize that each time you release money with faith and gratitude, you set it free to return to you through new channels. This changes your entire relationship with wealth. Rather than seeing money as something scarce, fragile, or dependent on chance, you begin to see it as a living current, always in motion, always finding its way back to you. The mind that accepts this truth no longer entertains lack because it knows the law of return is just as reliable as the cycle of rain. Think of the ocean waves. They move outward and inward in perfect rhythm. If you scoop water from the ocean, have you diminished the sea? Of course not. The tide continues undisturbed by your small action. The same is true with money. No matter how much you spend, give, or invest, the tide of abundance remains. When you recognize that your wealth is connected to an infinite ocean of supply, the illusion of lack dissolves. You may not always see how money will return, but faith in the law of circulation assures you that it must. It cannot be otherwise, for life itself is based on circulation. Breath, heartbeat, seasons, sunrise and sunset. To doubt the return of money is to doubt the very rhythm of existence. Financial blocks often form because people fear letting go. They clutch every coin, hesitant to spend, hesitant to give, and in doing so, they cut off circulation. Imagine a stream dammed by rocks. Eventually the water grows still, stagnant, and unhealthy. In the same way, when money is hoarded with fear, it becomes stagnant in your life. Bills pile up, opportunities dry out, and your finances feel heavy and stuck. But once you release with trust, paying obligations with gratitude, giving with joy, spending with faith, you clear the dam. Money flows again refreshed and abundant because you are no longer resisting the cycle. Consider how water takes on different forms, liquid, vapor, ice, but remains water nonetheless. Money, too, may change its form. At times it comes as physical cash, other times as digital numbers in an account, or perhaps as an opportunity, a favor, a new client, or an unexpected solution. To limit your vision and say money can only return in one form is to deny the creativity of the universe. Just as you do not demand that rain must fall in a particular pattern, you should not demand that money must come through one channel. Stay open, and you will discover that wealth has countless ways of reaching you. The cycle of circulation also teaches patience. When rain falls on the earth, it may take weeks, months, or even years before that water reappears as a stream or ocean wave. Yet at no point is the water gone. It is moving invisibly, fulfilling its process. Likewise, when money leaves your hands, it may take time before it returns in visible form. But the law is working. To worry during the waiting period is like fearing the sun will not rise after nightfall. Faith and patience keep the channel open, while fear and doubt block the unseen process. Every expense you release can be transformed into a blessing if you align it with gratitude. When you pay a bill, do not see money leaving you forever. Instead, say to yourself, this money is circulating, and it will return to me multiplied. Speak this with conviction, and you shift your energy from loss to gain. You honor the cycle, and by doing so, you speed its return. Gratitude is the magnet that draws the flow back with greater strength. Think also of generosity. When a river overflows, it nourishes the land around it. When you give with joy, you imitate this overflow. Many people fear giving because they see it as subtraction, but giving, when done in faith, is addition. What you send out with love returns, multiplied through unseen channels. If you release grudgingly or fearfully, you shut the door to circulation. But if you release with joy, you open the floodgates of increase. Giving is not loss, it is planting seed. Just as rain falling on the soil produces a harvest, so your giving produces a harvest of wealth. Those who understand this law live with freedom. They are not anxious when bills arrive. They are not troubled when expenses appeared. They know that money is never lost, only transformed, only moving to return again. Such people walk in peace, and peace itself attracts prosperity. Anxiety pushes abundance away, but calm trust draws it near. To live in alignment with circulation is to live with confidence that every need is already supplied, every desire already answered, and every release already multiplied. Water also teaches flexibility. It flows around rocks, bends through valleys, and fills every space available. Money, too, follows the path of least resistance. If you create resistance in your mind, through fear, negativity, or doubt, you make it harder for money to reach you. But if you remain flexible, open, and expectant, money flows around obstacles and still finds you. Your faith becomes the open channel through which wealth travels. Just as no rock can stop the river's journey, no circumstance can stop money from returning to the one who trusts circulation. This truth changes how you view setbacks. Many people panic when money seems to leave them suddenly, through unexpected expenses, losses, or changes. But if you hold to the law, you realize this is not an ending, it is transformation. The form has changed, but the substance remains. Just as water evaporates into vapor, unseen to the eye, money may appear to vanish. Yet it is only shifting, preparing to return in another form. When you rest in this truth, you stop calling losses losses, and begin to see them as transitions. And soon, new channels open, often greater than the ones you thought you lost. You can even practice this principle daily with simple rituals. When you drink water, affirm to yourself, as this water flows through me, so does money flow into my life. What I release returns multiplied. When you wash your hands, imagine releasing worry about money, knowing that circulation will bring it back. When you see rain, Declare that just as water returns from the clouds, so money returns from unseen sources. These practices train your mind to see circulation everywhere, until faith becomes natural and automatic. The universe itself is abundance in circulation. Stars burn and release light, which travels across galaxies. Plants release oxygen, which humans breathe in, while humans release carbon dioxide, which plants use. Every system in life is based on give and receive, release and return. To resist this is to go against the very fabric of creation. To embrace it is to live in harmony with the flow. That harmony manifests as peace. Opportunities open doors and yes, financial increase. Once you accept that money is never lost, only transformed, fear of spending disappears. You buy what you need without guilt, you give without hesitation, and you release without dread. This fearless circulation creates a magnetic field around you that attracts more. People, opportunities, and resources begin to move toward you because you are no longer resisting. You are part of the great river of abundance, flowing in rhythm with the universe. So remember always, just as water is never lost but transformed, money also circulates and returns in new ways. When you live by this law, lack becomes impossible, fear becomes powerless, and every financial block dissolves. Money will flow to you from expected and unexpected channels, and you will live in freedom, joy, and overflow. You are not separate from supply. You are one with the infinite ocean of wealth. Release with faith, receive with gratitude, and watch the river of prosperity carry you into a life beyond your imagination. Daily water practices strengthen belief in financial freedom and attract abundance. When we think of water, we often see it as something ordinary, something that simply quenches our thirst or cleanses our body. But in truth, water is one of the greatest spiritual tools given to us, a mirror of abundance itself. Its endless flow symbolizes the flow of life, and its cleansing properties reveal the path to prosperity. If you begin to use water consciously, not just as a physical element but as a spiritual practice, you will find your belief in financial freedom deepening and your connection to abundance becoming stronger and more real each day. Think about how water flows without resistance. A river does not fight the rocks or the curves in its path. It simply moves around obstacles and continues its journey. This is the very lesson we must apply to money. Too often, people struggle and resist, worrying about how money will come, or fearing that there will not be enough. This resistance creates blockages in the mind, just like a dam stops the flow of a river. But when you engage in daily water practices, you train your consciousness to release resistance and to flow with faith. Water becomes the living symbol of your financial life, flexible, abundant, and always moving. One of the simplest practices is to bless a glass of water each morning. Before drinking, hold it in your hands and speak words of wealth and freedom over it. Say to yourself, "This water carries prosperity into my being." As I drink, I dissolve every block and align myself with abundance. This act may seem small, but repetition is where the power lies. Each time you do it, your subconscious receives the message that money is flowing to you easily and naturally. Just as you cannot live without water, your life cannot thrive without prosperity consciousness. The more you affirm it through this practice, the more deeply it takes root. Another powerful ritual is to use water for release. As you wash your hands throughout the day, see every worry about bills, every fear about debt, and every limiting belief being washed away. Say silently, "I release lack and welcome increase." With each rinse, you cleanse not only your body but also your financial energy field. The mind remembers symbols, and water becomes a constant reminder that you are never stuck. Every limitation can be dissolved. When this ritual is practiced daily, it forms a habit of thinking in terms of freedom instead of bondage. Showering can also be transformed into a prosperity practice. As water flows over you, imagine it as golden streams of money and opportunity pouring into your life. Visualize debts being rinsed away, struggles melting, and doors of wealth opening before you. This is not fantasy. It is the creative imagination aligning your subconscious with wealth. The subconscious does not differentiate between what is seen with physical eyes and what is felt deeply in belief. By making your shower a spiritual act, you reprogram your inner world to expect financial freedom. Daily water practices are also a way to embody gratitude. When you drink water, give thanks not just for the refreshment, but for the flow of wealth that is already in your life. Gratitude magnetizes increase. When you express thankfulness for the money you have, even if it seems small, you open the door for greater sums to arrive. Saying, "I am grateful for the flow of money that sustains me, just as this water sustains me," establishes harmony between your spirit and the law of supply. Water teaches another vital lesson about circulation. It is never lost, it evaporates, it rains, it flows underground, but it always returns. So it is with money. It may appear to leave your hands, but it is only circulating, preparing to return in a new form. When you see money as water, you stop fearing its loss. Instead, you trust in its return. Daily water rituals remind you of this law. Each time you release water back to the earth, whether pouring it out or watching it flow down the sink, you affirm, Money returns to me multiplied, just as water returns to the sea. Another practice is to create a prosperity bowl. Each morning, pour fresh water into a small bowl and speak your intentions for financial freedom into it. Perhaps you desire to release debt, to increase income, or to attract opportunities. As you pour the water, say, I pour abundance into my life today. At night, release the water back into the earth, symbolizing the release of all blocks and the acceptance of new supply. Over time, this simple act impresses the truth upon your subconscious, that you are a co-creator of prosperity and that money is your rightful flow. These practices also train your mind to think of abundance as natural. Just as you never doubt whether the faucet will run, you begin to lose doubt about whether money will flow. Faith is strengthened not by one great act, but by many small, repeated acts. The daily nature of water rituals makes them powerful, because repetition builds belief. What you believe deeply is what manifests in your life. By constantly linking water with wealth, you saturate your inner world with prosperity consciousness until it overflows into outer results. Some may say, how can such simple acts change my finances? But remember, the outer world is always shaped by the inner. If you carry fear and doubt within, no amount of effort will bring lasting wealth. But if you carry faith and expectancy, the law of supply cannot help but respond. Water is not the power itself. It is the tool that awakens your awareness of the power already within you. By using it daily, you align your vibration with prosperity and opportunities, ideas, and resources begin to appear where once there was lack. Let water remind you to be fluid. Money comes in many forms: salary, gifts, ideas, business, investments. Do not limit the way it appears. Just as water can become rain, snow, steam, or ice, money can take countless shapes. Your role is to stay open, trusting that the flow will reach you in the right form and at the right time. Daily practices keep you aligned with this openness, preventing the rigidity that blocks supply. The great truth is this: financial freedom is not a distant dream. It is a state of mind, a belief that you are already supplied and that the current of money flows through you continuously. Water practices make this belief tangible. They take it out of theory and into action. Each sip, each wash, each ritual becomes a declaration of wealth. The more you practice, the more natural it feels, until lack no longer has a place in your consciousness. In time, you will notice shifts. Unexpected money arrives. New opportunities appear. Debts are cleared. This is not coincidence. It is the manifestation of your renewed belief, strengthened daily by water. Just as water wears away the hardest stone through constant flow, these small practices wear away the hardest doubts and fears. The barriers dissolve and the river of abundance rushes through. So let water be your ally. Drink with intention, wash with release, shower with renewal, pour with faith, and flow with gratitude. Each day let water remind you that financial freedom is your divine inheritance. You are never separated from abundance, for it flows like a river through every moment of your life. Use it, bless it, and trust it, and soon you will find yourself standing not in the desert of lack, but at the overflowing banks of prosperity. Water symbolizes renewal. Each cleansing reconnects you to infinite supply. From the beginning of creation, water has carried within it the mystery of life, the constant reminder that no matter what has been, no matter what burdens you have carried, you can always be made new. Just as the rain falls fresh upon the earth, washing away dust and giving life to seeds, so too can you wash away every sense of lack, fear, and financial block that has ever held you back. You are never stuck, for within you flows the same power that renews oceans, rivers, and streams. When you understand the spiritual power of water, you will see that it holds the key to awakening prosperity and restoring your natural state of abundance. Think about the way you feel when you step into a refreshing bath or stand under a shower after a long day. The heaviness lifts, your energy shifts, and you feel lighter, clearer, and more alive. This is not only a physical renewal, but also a spiritual one. The water does not only cleanse your body, it can cleanse your consciousness. Every drop can carry away the vibrations of fear, doubt, and limitation if you allow it. And when the consciousness is cleansed, prosperity flows naturally. For money, like water, is a current. It is meant to move, to refresh, to fill, and to renew. Whenever you feel financial struggle, it is a sign that the current has been blocked. Yet water shows you how easily those blocks can be dissolved. Imagine for a moment a river that has been dammed. Behind the dam, the water grows still, heavy, and stagnant. Algae begins to grow, life struggles to thrive, and the freshness disappears. But the moment the dam is lifted, the water rushes forward, powerful, alive, and unstoppable. The same is true of your prosperity. Every block is like a dam you have built with thoughts of fear, lack, resentment, or doubt. The moment you choose to release those thoughts, the floodgates open, and abundance rushes in to refresh your life. Water symbolizes this truth, teaching you that renewal is always just one cleansing away. This is why simple rituals with water can transform your financial reality. When you wash your hands, do not merely think of removing dirt. See yourself washing away debts, washing away fear of bills, washing away the belief that money is hard to get. As the water runs down the drain, declare within yourself that lack has left you. When you shower, do not only think of cleaning your skin. Envision that every drop of water is cleansing away poverty, consciousness, and replacing it with the vibration of wealth. Say silently, I am renewed, I am restored, I am abundant. By aligning your daily actions with spiritual intention, you transform ordinary water into a living prayer for prosperity. Water also carries memory. Scientists have shown that water can hold the imprint of thoughts, words, and emotions. This is why blessing your water is a sacred act. Take a glass of water, hold it in your hands, and speak prosperity into it. Say, this water carries the energy of wealth, success, and freedom. As I drink, I receive abundance into every part of my life. Then drink it slowly, knowing that you are filling your very cells with the vibration of increase. It may seem simple, yet it is profoundly powerful, for your subconscious mind responds to symbols and rituals. Water becomes the bridge between your intention and manifestation. Have you ever noticed how refreshing it feels to sit by the ocean or a flowing river? You may have felt a calmness, a clarity, or even sudden inspiration. This is because water carries renewal not only physically, but spiritually. It reminds you of your own infinite nature. The ocean never worries if the waves will run out. The river never doubts that it will keep flowing. In the same way, you must trust that money and supply are endless. Financial struggle often comes from the belief that there is not enough. Yet water shows you that supply is always renewed. Rain falls again and again, rivers refill, oceans are vast beyond measure. So too is the wealth of the universe. You live in an endless ocean of abundance, and you can never be truly cut off from it except in thought. Renewal also means release. Water teaches you how to let go. When you pour water out, it does not cling to your hand. It moves on, freely, without regret. This is the spirit you must adopt with money. If you cling in fear, you block the flow. If you release in faith, you stay in the current. When you pay a bill, do not grumble or feel drained. Instead, bless the money as you release it, saying, as water returns to the sea, so does money return to me multiplied. This attitude keeps the current alive, and what you send out comes back renewed. Think also of rainstorms. They may seem overwhelming, even destructive at times, yet they always pass, leaving the air clean and the earth fertile. So too are financial storms. They come not to destroy you, but to cleanse away what no longer serves you and prepare you for new growth. If you face a financial storm, stand firm and declare, this too shall pass, and I will be renewed in abundance. Trust that the rain of challenge is watering the soil of your prosperity. Water is also gentle yet powerful. A soft stream can carve canyons through solid rock, not by force, but by persistence. The same principle applies to attracting money. It is not force, struggle, or desperation that creates wealth, but steady faith and gentle persistence. A drop of water falling again and again will wear away the hardest stone. In the same way, your daily practices of cleansing thoughts, blessing your water, and releasing fear will eventually dissolve even the deepest financial blocks. Do not underestimate the power of consistency. Small daily renewals add up to great transformation. There is also a lesson in still waters. A calm lake reflects the sky perfectly. Likewise, a calm mind reflects divine supply. When your mind is restless, filled with worry about money, the reflection is distorted. But when you quiet yourself, breathe deeply, and align with faith, you reflect the truth clearly. That abundance is already yours. Take time each day to sit quietly with a bowl or glass of water, gazing into its stillness. Let it remind you of your own inner stillness. In that silence, prosperity speaks. In that calm, answers come. Water symbolizes life itself, and life is always renewing. Each morning the dew appears, each season the rains return, each tide rises again. No matter how dry a desert, water finds its way back in time. And no matter how dry your finances may seem, renewal is certain if you align yourself with the law of flow. Do not say, my best days are behind me, or I will never recover. Instead, say, I am renewed daily. Supply flows to me in ever fresh streams. With this attitude, you open yourself to miracles of money appearing in ways you could not have imagined. Remember also that water cannot be grasped tightly. Try to hold it in a clenched fist, and it slips away. But open your hand, and it rests gently upon your palm. This is how you must hold money, with openness, not fear. The tighter you cling, the more you lose. The more open and trusting you are, the more freely it comes and goes, always returning in greater measure. Money, like water, must be trusted to flow. Every act of renewal with water reconnects you to infinite supply. Washing, drinking, bathing, blessing, all of these are opportunities to cleanse the inner self of scarcity, thinking, and align with abundance. Each time you use water, let it remind you of your birthright to prosperity. You are not separate from the source, you are part of the ever-renewing ocean of divine supply. Just as no wave is ever cut off from the sea, you are never cut off from wealth except by the illusion of fear. So today, make water your ally in prosperity. Bless it, honor it, and use it as a symbol of renewal. Speak abundance into it, release fear with it, and let it remind you that supply is infinite. Each cleansing reconnects you, each sip renews you, each ritual awakens you to the truth that money is meant to flow into your life like a river, fresh, abundant, and unending. Trust the flow, release the blocks, and step into the endless current of wealth that is already yours. You live in an ocean of abundance. Separation from prosperity is only an illusion. From the moment you opened your eyes in this world, you were immersed in a universe that overflows with supply, opportunities, and blessings. The air you breathe is limitless, the sunlight is endless, and the oceans flow without hesitation. This is the truth of life. Abundance is the law, not scarcity. Yet, human beings often convince themselves otherwise. They live as if lack and limitation are permanent conditions, as if they are cut off from the source of all good. But separation from prosperity is only a trick of the mind, a shadow cast by fear, doubt, and disbelief. In reality, you cannot be separated from abundance any more than a fish can be separated from the sea. You are surrounded by prosperity in every form, and once you realize this truth, money and blessings begin to flow to you with ease. Consider the nature of water itself. You may look at the ocean and imagine it has an end, but no matter how much water you take, it cannot be emptied. It renews itself, flows back in, and continues endlessly. This is how prosperity operates. You may feel as if you have lost money or that opportunities have slipped away, but life has a perfect balance. And just like the tide, what flows out returns again. Every wave that pulls back is preparing for another surge forward. When you understand this rhythm, you no longer panic when money leaves you, because you know it will return, often multiplied. The illusion of separation disappears, and faith in the flow replaces fear. Why then do so many people live as though they are drowning in lack? It is because they have dammed up their own current of supply with thoughts of fear, worry, and disbelief. They see bills and declare themselves poor, instead of realizing that the same energy that brought them into this moment can bring them solutions, resources, and opportunities. Just as a stream cannot flow when blocked by debris, the mind cannot attract wealth when it is cluttered with poverty, consciousness. You do not need to beg the universe for money. You do not need to struggle and strain endlessly. You need only to clear the blocks, to let the water of abundance flow again. Imagine standing in front of a river, watching the water flow endlessly, never asking for permission, never doubting its source. It simply moves, finding its way around rocks and obstacles. Money and blessings operate under the same principle. When you are in alignment, prosperity finds its way to you, no matter the circumstances. You may face obstacles, but abundance knows how to flow around them. You may face delays, but the stream never stops. The universe does not withhold from you, it adjusts the flow until the right time and the right channel are open. Your only task is to remain in the stream of faith, to trust that your needs are met even before you ask. One of the greatest illusions is the belief in separation from source. People often think they are cut off from wealth because of where they were born, the family they came from, or the mistakes they have made. But life is not bound by these appearances. The universe is no respecter of persons. It responds to faith, to thought, to spoken word, to vibration. When you declare that you are prosperous, when you believe that wealth flows to you, you activate the same law that has always governed creation. Energy responds to expectation. Water does not ask whether you deserve to drink it, it simply nourishes you. In the same way, prosperity does not judge, it flows wherever the channel is open. This is why rituals with water are so powerful. Take a glass of water in your hands, speak prosperity into it, and drink it with the conviction that you are taking abundance into your very being. This act is not superstition, it is a reminder that wealth is already within you, waiting to flow outward. Each sip dissolves fear, each swallow renews your belief that money is not something outside of you, it is already connected to you. When you wash your hands, imagine the water washing away financial worries, debts, and limitations. When you shower, feel each drop as a baptism into prosperity, cleansing away every belief in lack. These acts may seem simple, but they reprogram the subconscious mind, aligning you with the truth that you are never separate from abundance. Generosity is another key to staying in the flow. Consider again the ocean. Does it ever fear giving of itself? Waves pour endlessly onto the shore, and yet the sea is never diminished. When you give with love and gratitude, whether it is money, kindness, or service, you mirror the law of abundance. You declare that you are part of an infinite supply, and therefore you cannot run out. But when you give with fear, with reluctance, or with resentment, you close the channel. The water of prosperity cannot flow through a clenched fist. Open your hands, release what you have with joy, and watch how it returns multiplied. Another illusion is the belief that wealth is only material. True abundance is spiritual first, then material. It begins in thought, grows in belief, and finally appears in form. Just as water vapor becomes rain, then streams, then rivers, prosperity condenses into visible form when you align your mind with truth. If you chase money as if it is the source, you miss the law. Money is the effect, not the cause. The cause is your consciousness, your faith, your vibration. When you align with abundance, money flows naturally, without strain. Separation from prosperity only exists when you believe in appearances rather than truth. Think of the countless drops of water in a single ocean wave. You could never count them all. This is the symbol of the blessings surrounding you, uncountable, infinite, beyond measure. Yet most people live as though they are begging for a single drop, unaware they are surrounded by an endless sea. The illusion of separation blinds them, but once the veil is lifted, they see clearly. Abundance is all around and lack is only a lie. The law of circulation governs everything. Water that is hoarded becomes stagnant, unfit to drink. Money that is hoarded in fear loses its power. But water that flows remains pure, life-giving and fresh. So it is with money. Spend with joy, knowing more will return. Give freely, knowing the universe replenishes you. Receive gratefully, knowing you are in the flow. The circulation of wealth is eternal, and once you align with it, you discover that you were never separated from prosperity to begin with. Let water be your teacher. Watch how it adapts, how it moves with grace, how it flows no matter the obstacle. This is how you are to live in relation to money. Flow with faith, adapt with courage, move with gratitude. You are not a beggar at the shore, waiting for the tide to turn. You are part of the ocean itself, inseparable from its supply. Every financial block is only a stone in the river. Water flows around it, and so can you. The truth is simple yet profound. You live in an ocean of abundance, and you can never be separated from it. Separation is only an illusion created by the mind. When you wash away the illusion with faith, gratitude, and conscious rituals, you step back into the truth. Prosperity is not coming to you. It is already here. You need only to align with it, to open yourself, to allow it to flow. So drink deeply from the waters of abundance. Wash away every doubt. Flow around every obstacle. Give as freely as the ocean pours its waves. And remember always, you live in an ocean of supply, infinite and eternal. Separation from prosperity is impossible, for you are one with the source, and the source is forever abundant. Allow water to remind you that wealth is your divine inheritance, always flowing towards you. Water is one of the clearest mirrors of spiritual law. It never struggles, it never competes, it never questions where its next drop will come from. It simply flows, always finding its way, always in motion, always a part of something greater than itself. If you want to understand how prosperity operates in your life, you need only to study the movement of water. Money and abundance follow the same law. They are not designed to be hoarded in fear or stopped by doubt. They are meant to flow into your life, through your life, and back out into the world, returning multiplied. When you allow water to become your teacher, you begin to see that financial blessings are not something outside of you to chase after, but something already within the current of your life, waiting to be recognized, accepted, and released. Think of the ocean. It is vast, limitless, and impossible to measure. No one ever looks at the sea and worries that it might run dry. The waves roll in endlessly, one after another, without concern for lack. And yet, how often do people treat money as though it is scarce, as though there isn't enough to go around? The truth is that prosperity is as abundant as the waters of the earth, and when you align with this truth, you open the door for wealth to find you in miraculous ways. Just as every river is connected to the ocean, every financial opportunity is connected to the infinite source of supply. What is yours by divine inheritance cannot be withheld. The flow of prosperity may sometimes seem delayed or diverted, but just like water, it will always find its way to you. Water is also a perfect symbol of cleansing. When you step into a shower, you do not simply remove dirt from your body. You can also choose to release doubt, fear, and every false belief about money that you have carried. Imagine the water washing away poverty consciousness, cleansing the mind of stories that say, "There isn't enough," or "I can't succeed." Allow every drop to remind you that you are not bound by past mistakes, debts, or financial struggles. You are constantly renewed. Water does not cling to the dirt it washes away, it releases it and continues flowing. In the same way, you must not cling to your old financial failures or limitations. Once released, they are gone. And as you allow yourself to be cleansed in thought, you create a clear channel through which prosperity can enter. Consider also how water adapts. It moves around rocks, through valleys, and across every terrain without resistance. It does not stop when faced with an obstacle. It does not cry out in despair because a mountain blocks its path. It simply flows around, over, or under, and continues onward. This is the posture you must take with your finances. Do not allow obstacles to harden your heart or make you believe the flow of money has stopped. You may need to adjust, take a new approach, or flow in a different direction, but the supply is still moving toward you. The river does not end at the first sign of resistance, and neither does your prosperity. Water also reminds us of generosity. A spring does not hold back its water for fear it will run out. It pours forth, and in pouring, it is constantly replenished. The same law governs wealth. When you give with love, when you share with joy, When you release money in faith and gratitude, you are not losing anything. You are keeping the current alive. Giving fearfully shuts the door on prosperity, but giving joyfully swings it open wide. Just as stagnant water grows fall, stagnant money grows heavy with fear. But money released in faith returns to you cleansed, multiplied, and alive. If you want to invite this flow into your life, you can use water as a daily practice. Take a glass of water each morning, hold it in your hands, and speak words of abundance over it. As this water flows through me, so does prosperity. Every block is dissolved. I am one with divine supply. Drink it with expectation, not as a ritual of superstition, but as a conscious choice to align your thoughts with abundance. Let it be a reminder that wealth is not outside of you, but within you, already flowing. Each sip is a declaration that you are nourished, supplied, and filled with prosperity, consciousness. Another powerful practice is to pour a small amount of water into a bowl and whisper your intentions into it. You might say, I release fear. I release debt. I allow abundance to flow freely. Then pour the water into the earth or down the sink, declaring that your blocks are gone and prosperity is moving. This act may seem simple, but it holds great power when done with faith. Water absorbs your intention and carries it into the unseen, just as your faith carries your desires into manifestation. When you look at the endless cycle of water, you see another reflection of wealth. Rain falls, rivers form, lakes fill, and eventually the water returns to the sky only to fall again. It is never lost, only transformed. Money follows the same cycle. It may appear to leave you when you spend it, but it is never gone. It is circulating, transforming, moving through channels you cannot see, and finding its way back to you in new and greater forms. When you trust this cycle, you are no longer anxious about money flowing out of your life. You understand that it always returns, because you are part of the divine circulation of wealth. And remember, fear dams up the river. Doubt creates blockages. Resentment and envy are stones in the stream that disrupt the flow. But gratitude, faith, and joyful expectation remove every barrier. Water flows most freely when the channel is open, and so does money. Your task is not to force prosperity, but to keep the channel clear. Each day ask yourself, am I thinking thoughts that let abundance flow, or am I clogging the stream with fear? The answer will show in your circumstances. Clear the debris of negative thought, and the current of wealth will rush toward you. Water also teaches patience. A river may take years to carve its path through rock, but it never ceases its work. Prosperity may not always arrive in the instant you expect, but if you hold steady, it will always come. Trust the timing. Just as water cannot be hurried and yet always reaches its destination, wealth cannot be forced yet it always finds its rightful owner. The key is to remain in faith, unmoved by appearances, confident that the flow is working even when unseen. Allow water to be your teacher each day. Watch how it moves without effort, how it refreshes without hesitation, how it reflects the light of the sun. Let it remind you that wealth is your divine inheritance, not something you must beg for, but something already flowing toward you. The more you align with this truth, the more you see evidence of it in your life. Unexpected opportunities arise, debts dissolve, income streams appear, and abundance flows in ways you could never have imagined. When you drink water, let it remind you of supply. When you wash, let it remind you of cleansing. When you see rivers, lakes, or rain, let them remind you of circulation. Every encounter with water is a message you are part of the eternal flow of prosperity. You cannot be separated from it any more than a drop of water can be separated from the ocean. Wealth belongs to you by divine right. It is not the privilege of the few, it is the inheritance of all who align with the flow. Just as the earth is covered with water, so is life covered with supply. There is no lack in the universe, only the appearance of lack created by blocked thoughts. Open your channel, release fear, wash away doubt, allow gratitude to fill you, and as surely as water flows, prosperity will flow to you, through you, and around you endlessly and abundantly. So the next time you see water, whether in a glass, a river, or a falling rain, whisper to yourself, as this water flows, so does money flow into my life. Wealth is my divine inheritance, always moving toward me. Believe it, live it, and watch the river of abundance rise to meet you.